Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I am your host, Mary Ellen. This is an episode of Thrifty Canucks, hosted by the lovely and talented Kim at Images by Kim, and Thrifty Thursday, hosted by Sherry at Turquoise Dreaming, who is also lovely and talented. So I went to two stores. One is entirely thrifty because I had to go to Michael's, and we know what it is like to have to go to Michael's. And I got some things. Oh my goodness, here's the bag. So, possibly chief among the things that I got at Michael's, if I can find it. Where did it go? It has to have made it in the bag. There we are. Let the court see I now have a replacement. So this is done. We are officially finished. And we're going to have a brand new bottle of glue. So that's exciting. So that was a legit, I need a thing. What else happened? So I got some thread, some Christmassy twiny stuff, which I like the pattern of. This was the book that I was talking about. Can we open it? No, we can't. Not easily anyways. So I love the size of this. And this is what we're going to do. And that Thundering Paws is Gracie Girl managing the borders. There's one. There we are. And there's two. And it's a beautiful size. And it is also double-sided. So there's 2 sheets per. Then we have Candy and Stripe, and this is still really tight to that. This is hard showing you these goodies, but totally worth it. There we are. Okay, now we should be good. And then peppermint and snowflakes, and then trees. So I got sort of the pinky red one. Oops. And I'm going to keep going. Plaid and pink snowflakes, green trees and trim, poinsettias and holly, birds and stripes, snowflakes and pattern, Christmas lights and holly, round peppermints and dots, and poinsettias and green stripes. So I am super excited to get working on that. That is a really great size. It is 3.5 inches wide, and it is made to be for tags. What else did I get? Oh yes, okay, so Totally Weak. This was my way of saying, okay, I want some stickers. So these are die cut stickers, and these are the patterns. So there's a couple of Santa Clauses, a couple of snowmen, nutcracker, a couple of trees, a couple of baubles. That's a tree label, and I always love a cardinal at Christmas. We got those. Because I don't have enough Christmas stuff. I believe this is now going to be the constant chorus for everyone. Oh yes, these 2 things are also very important. So adding to my glue, this is a neon orange, and this is cherry red. I have a cherry red that is almost gone, that isn't from Americana, and I believe I am never going to be able to replace it, but it is one of the most perfect reds. It is a bluish red, and I love it to pieces, and I'm very sad that it's almost going to be gone. And I have the orange because it just provides me an alternative to the neon pink that I have been using. So I will put dates on the paint. I always put in the month and the year that I purchased them so that I have a sense of age of the paints, because some colors are used quicker than others. And I think there's one more thing in here. Yes, there is. Oh, that's going to tip otherwise, so we're just going to do that. This one also has those. So this I saw somebody somewhere show, and it is called Snow Globe Vellum. So this is vellum in a snow pattern, and again, I think there's probably 2 pages of each. This one has got 4 square, full snowflakes, very partial snowflakes, snowflake border, snowflakes on the top or the bottom, depending on how you orient it. All over snowflakes. I love this paper. This is going to be gorgeous. I also want to see if I can do some jelly printing on it. We have a wreath. So it's all white snowflakes of some description. This is a pretty pattern. Another pattern. Another pattern. Another sort of bordered pattern. Most of this is blank. And then a very, very bold pattern. So I'm very happy to have some vellum. So we've got that. Moving on to Value Village and thrifting for realsies. You saw, oops, the shirt that I got. So fabric. I've already cut off the sleeve, and this material is being used as one of the border spots for the Water Witch Poison Journal, and I'm very, very happy with this. The pattern that you may be able to see here is woven into the fabric, not printed, which I think is pretty great. So very happy with that. And the rest are books. So seems like this was the week for getting our favorites. So I have another copy of this. This makes copy number 4, maybe? And I get it because it is beautiful pages. It has the right, it's thick enough, but not too thick. There are loads of blank pages that I can harvest and then just use as blank backing. Some fun fussy cut stuff. It makes for a really great collage base, and I am getting to the point where I can now detect this book at 20 paces. I was able to just see it, oh, there's the book. And it's also fun to be so familiar with a book that you don't have to do anything with it. You just grab it and you throw it in the cart, and you know exactly what you're getting. So I got another one of those. Then, okay, now I have to fix something here. I gotta look for something. So bear with. Looking. Okay, so under the banner of you see something, you just throw it in your cart and you don't really think about it, I saw this book shaped like this. Really interesting shape. Spine is here. It's very long. It is a 11.5 long. It is 5 inches high. It's a very curious shape for a book. And so I quickly took it, opened it, saw that image, and then put it in my cart. And I am deliberately showing it to you very fast because I have much more to say on the topic. So I get it, everything is fine. I go home and then I read the title. and it's called Muriel Foster's Fishing Diary. Huh, that's interesting. Makes some sense that we have this fish. So my first question is, well, who the heck is Muriel Foster? And I will tell you who the heck Muriel Foster is. So from some aldbournheritage.org.uk, the following. Some writers achieve success in their early years, then fade to obscurity. Some lucky ones find success in their later years, and for some, curiously, their real talent is only recognized after they have died. Muriel Foster was one of the latter. Muriel Constance Foster, born 1885 in Shenley, Surrey, was the eldest daughter in an upper middle class family. Although skilled in embroidery, she was more interested in the boys' pursuits of fencing and fishing. She was also a talented artist and attended the Slade School of Art and exhibited at the Royal Academy. The Royal Academy, I think, is all that in a bag of rice in terms of UK high art. However, her main passion was fishing, and she often went to Scotland for fly fishing. In late 1913, she began to record her fishing exploits in a journal, along with her own detailed sketches of the wildlife scene and her beautiful watercolors of the Scottish landscape. Blah, 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 blah. And then it talks about she never married. She had a home that was in a place called Ivy Cottage, which in Aldbourne, which is somewhere in Scotland maybe. And she had a wide range of friends, and her place was pretty happening. So that's who Muriel Foster is. Let us call her what's her name? What's the book that everybody wants in junk journaling? You're yelling at the screen. I know you are. I can hear you, but I can't hear you enough to hear what you're saying. Anyways, she is the fishing version of that person. So let us have a calm and orderly perusal of this book, because it's really, really interesting. It starts off, Muriel Foster's Fishing Diary, a studio book, The Viking Press, New York. In memory of John Noller, his last find, his first love, copyright 1980, etc., printed in Italy. This is the opening fly. There is no introduction, there is nothing. It is just a fishing diary, some ISBN information, and off we go. This is a beautifully illuminated little script introduction. And so this is, I'm going to have to stand up to see if I'm in frame. Oh, yes, I am. Here we are. We're in frame. This is what the book consists of. So you have the date, where she was fishing, the water, how many rods she had, any flies, so she was doing fly fishing, then counts of the kinds of fish, weight, and then any remarks. So she starts this in 1913, towards the end of the fishing season. It's September 16th. World War I starts 1914. Let's check. WWI, July 14th to November 11th, 1918. So she is starting this a year before, 6 months before the start of World War I. And she starts fishing and making annotations. She's drawing the fish, she's drawing just little sketches, she's drawing larger sort of scene sketches. She's making really interesting notes as well. So this will sort of carry on. You just read along the line here. She's sketched some of her flies, like the hook, the fly fishing. This mansion house, Dundonald, that was one of the places where she did a lot of the fishing. So 1915, 1913, a little bit of 1914, and then she stops. So there's no start of World War I. She stops, and then she picks it up again in 1915. And I believe she did a lot of volunteer work during this war, if I recall some of the other reading that I've done. And I'm going slowly through this so that you just can appreciate the book. You may not ever have an opportunity or interest in buying the book yourself, but man, there are just every single page she has illuminated in some beautiful way with either her watercolor or her ink sketches. There's old Bob, a little sheep, some more fly. And every end of every year, she does this little grid where she lists the fish, the number that she catches, the weight, the total, and just like a tally of the year, which I think is pretty spectacular. And her notes are really interesting. In the evening, only fish there for a short time. Not sure who Hector is, but I am sure if I did some more digging, I would be able to figure it out. Fine day, wind variable. Who hooked salmon or enormous trout, which nearly pulled him in Cannon Pool. So we're at 1917. And this, I think, is one of her fishing pals. And there's Bob again. And that's the end of 1917. And you can see here she's done more and a more efficient. She sort of thought about how she wants to total these. And the other really interesting thing is that each one of these is very decorative. Yeah, I think there's a different decoration on just about each one. And I'd love to know when she was doing this decoration. You know, she came home at the end of the day and we're all chit-chatting and doing whatever, and then she's just doing her sketching. Or was she doing it in situ or from memory? I don't know. So this is 1918, so the war ends. So the war ends after she finishes fishing for the year. And then they are back to the regular fishing. Luna is a new dog, so I think old Bob might have passed away. R.I.P. Bob. This poem is fun to me. Dirty days has September, April, June, and November. From January up to May, the rain it raineth every day. All the rest have 31 without a blessed gleam of sun. And if any of them had 32, they'd be just as wet and twice as dirty. So that's a version of the poem that I know of 30 days has September, April, June, and November, all the rest of 31, except February. This also is fabulous to me. This is a diagram of how to tie the fly. Oh, that's just spectacular. Just spectacular. Fished for an hour, fish rising well, threw back 6. Oh, there's Luna again. And Dundonald is one of the places where she does a lot of her fishing. Artists do this all of the time. They draw the book that they have, which is essentially what she's doing here with a whole bunch of little flies. And she's also got another knot here, which is just gorgeous. These plates are really beautiful if you're into fish. So apparently the internet tells me that this book is one of the necessary books to have if you're into fly fishing. Clearly, for the art and also the science of the tracking that she has. Edith Holden, that's the name. I needed to relax. So Muriel Foster is the Edith Holden of fly fishing. And she just, it's so varied. It's like, here's, you know, the fish swimming, and then scene, and then there's some boating. And she's a talented artist, clearly. And so we're up to 21, and I'm going to go a little bit quicker until I get to some more good pictures. Like, that's just beautiful, beautiful art. I love this picture. This is so fun. I imagine that's either her or one of her many friends that went fishing with her. This is called The Hut, and there's several pictures of this, which I think is maybe a fishing hut. Beautiful art, just gorgeous. And we're rolling along in the years now. So this is 1925. So we are the roaring 20s. So here's another picture of the hut. And more birds and fly. And didn't know that they had those. It looks like elk, moose, something. I don't know. That looks like a loon, but she calls it a thrasher. Beautiful detail of the lure. This bird, I would like to know what this bird is. It, if I hadn't, and we hadn't already experienced all of this incredibly accurate art, I would say this was an error in the way she drew it, because it feels like he's a little bit chunky in the middle. Like the bird needs to be somehow longer. It doesn't make sense to me that these tail feathers and these wings can lift that bird. So keep that in mind. This might be the same bird, different aspect of it. And again, she's, you know, so this makes me think that she's drawing when she's fishing, because this is fishing tackle in the bag. Beautiful, beautiful up close. And hair and more of this antlered buddy. A poem. Upon a river's something serene, a fisher sat where all was green and looked it. He saw when light was getting dim a fish, or else the fish saw him and hooked it. He took with high erect comb the fish, or else the story home, and cooked it. Recording angels round his bed, heard all that he had done or said, and booked it. No idea. That was not the poem I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more engaging, but there we are. They can't all be gems. Cute little owl. And I love that she doesn't care about the lines. And that's another thing. I am always very, you know, oh, I can't do it there. I have to do it there. And she's like, nah, I'm just going to draw it. It's my book. I'm going to draw it. And she had her one book, and she was so consistent with it. She filled the book, and just get journal after journal after journal. And it's like, oh, well, I'll fill this one, and you never do. You write a couple of pages, and then, oh, I need a new journal. I need it. She's just like, okay, this is my fishing journal, and I'm gonna fill it. That's just what I'm gonna do. That's just super fun. That's a little grebe. Some of the artwork that people do when they are out and about, I think, are really important records of, like, for example, this. What did it look like before? It probably doesn't look like that now. And it's useful to record history in that way. And we're at 1929. Oh, look at that. She just is gonna go to town. That's a pike. I know that fish. And yes, I know I can close this book and carry on, but I don't. This is worth showing. I love that weather vane. And her notes are just so beautiful. Just the weather and the fish and what was happening. There's another pike. You can tell by that wicked underbite. Very hot and thundery. Saw a quantity of chub, perch, jack. A few chub followed the fly. No rise. And I think rise is when the fish come up to the surface to get at the fly. Poured with rain all the time. Did not fish very long. Saw a lot of golden plover. So golden plover, I think, is a bird. Poured with rain all the time. So she's got initials for some of the people that she's with. I suppose it just saves space. So RJF and self, nothing doing. Saw gray wagtail. They nested here. Also sandpiper. I just got a little picture of a sandpiper. 1934. So World War II is about to start. So these are the sort of the gathering years before the Second World War. The long drought and the great amount of, I think, fennel weeds making fishing very difficult. So this is 1934, this is June. At 5 a.m., mist rising like smoke from the river, like so atmospheric. The lake also dried up, but the fish were netted out and taken away in lorries. Oh, okay, so the lake was drying up and I guess they were saving the fish. 1935. Oh, and another full page spread. $1937. I mean, she's clearly understands the thing that she is drawing, whether it be, like I say, just an image in her head, or this is how they go. They look like this. I mean, 1937, she started in 1913, so she's been at it 25 years. So this is the 25th year of her fishing. 25 years of fishing. Oh, little black cat. And then this was the image that got my attention. So pack. That pack done snapped my line. And then 1939. Now then, see, there's another one of those little pokey red birds. If anybody knows what that bird is, drop it in the comments below. I would love to know. World War II. Come on, Wikipedia. So the World War starts September 1st, 1939. So here's June. Or June. She's doing a lot of fishing. I have known the mill dam fish so well. The increase high wind kept down the flannel weed and kept a good ripple. And that's a weasel, maybe? So 1939, September 1st. So we are at July 2nd. She's done a pool analysis. That's absolutely a pile of her catches. So July 2nd is the last day that she fishes or records in here. And then 1939, 1946, the first time I have fished since the war. That resonates with me so deeply. It's looking at somebody's diary in a way that is so compelling. It's like there's this blank. And then she starts fishing again. Okay. Fished for a short time in one of the pools. This is all she caught. Buddy is not fishing much since the accident to his leg. No information on who that is or what happened. The river is in very good order after severe winter floods. There is a good stock of fish in good condition. More fish showing between the mill dam and the fish walk. The last 2 days of my walk were very cold and very little fly about. Saw a sandpiper. It's like she had to change the ink or something. It's adorable. This dressing was taught OBF by Patterson, the old man now dead, who made rods for Ogden Smith. It is a very sparse dressing. So I think dressing is something around fly making. The tip of the hackle feathers for a tail and the hackle twisted on top of the silk body. This fly was a ginger jungle cock feather tied with primrose silk, number 2 hook. And this is her very last entry. Very deep, a most beautiful lake. And she says, fini, arthritis. So she gets to the end of her journal and she stops because and this is stated in the script that I have of her, that she was plagued in her later years by arthritis and then had to stop. And so at the very end, she has absolutely a year-by-year chronology of all of the fish, the total weight, and then any sort of large remarks over the year. Largest fish caught. Let's see where the war is. Yeah, she fishes through this war because I don't think England was a theater of war. Or was bombed, but certainly 1940 to 1945, no fishing owing to the war. Oh. And then, what does it say? Brown trout of 1 pound and upwards, underlined in red, caught by self. So she's just got an incredible annotation. And this is like a fish-specific brown trout. And weights of the fish. And a sketch of the weighing. She's got some more math. And then at the end, And there's no afterword. It is literally just her diary. Ooh, what a beautiful book. It's going to be a while before I can take this one apart. So, I have one more book. And much like this one, we are going to take some time with it. And I will warn you now that this is a children's book and is a delight because it uses going to the bathroom as a possible bit of a content. So if you are squeamish, you don't want to listen to that, turn away now. This is the last book that I'm going to show. We've already broken it up because I needed to have something for the spine of the new book. This is called Brief Thief by Michael Escoffier and Chris Di Giacomo. And we will go slowly through it. And this is a little, I think it's a chameleon. It's by Enchanted Lion Books. It's for Evan-ME. That's probably Michel Escoffier. And we will read it. So have a cup of tea and we will read slowly. This morning, Leon enjoyed his breakfast. Then he sunned himself on a big rock. And now Leon has to go poo. He finds a nice tree to hide behind. But when he's done, he realizes, oh no, no paper. Leon looks around for something to use. Leaves? No, they're too prickly. Grass? No, that will be too messy. But wait, these old underpants here will do the trick. They might belong to someone, but who would come all the way up here? Anyway, they're full of holes. Leon finishes his business, then he throws the underpants into the bushes and goes back to his rock. Hey, who do you think you are? Huh? What? Who said that? Yeah, you there. You think I didn't see that? Leon looks around. No one in sight. Anybody there? It's me, your conscience. My conscience? What's that? I'm the little voice you hear inside your head whenever you get up to something naughty. But I didn't do anything. Are you sure? 100% sure? Cross your heart sure? Well, there were those underpants. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Since when are we allowed to touch other people's things? What do they teach you in school anyway? It was just an old pair of underpants full of holes. I thought they'd been thrown away. Oh, you thought that, did you? But did you also think that maybe the owner of those underpants could have lost them? Or that maybe someone stole them from him? Or that maybe, just maybe, he had washed them and gone off for a walk in the woods while they were hanging out in the sun to dry? Leon has a funny feeling the little voice is right. You know what you need to do now? Go on, scrub, like you mean it. I don't want to see a single trace left. And when you've finished, hang them up and dry. And get lost. You sneaky little lizard. It's a bunny. There's his underpants, clean and hanging. Old underpants full of holes. Indeed. The end. I'll leave you with that.